What is up, you guys? BlueBlairyFitness here. Today is Wednesday, September 30th, and I am currently right about 17 days out from my next show. Kitty! Say hello! Say hello! So, 17 days out from my next show, I am heading out the door to THRC to actually get my body fat percentage checked. And they have a machine there, stand on it. However it works, Jessica's gonna let us know, but it measures very specific information. So how much muscle you have on your body, how much water you're holding at the time. I think the muscle balances between your limbs and all of that crazy stuff. So never had my body fat percentage checked this way before, so I'm really excited to try it out. Let you guys know what I'm at because I'm curious. I don't know, just for my own personal knowledge. If I had to guess, 14% where I'm sitting at right now. But again, I have no idea. I've never had it checked this way before. I'm gonna head out to the gym and we're gonna meet with Jessica. We're gonna get my body fat checked and then I'm going to work out. So hope you guys enjoy and I will see y'all in a minute. We need like coffee cups, like Good Morning America. You can have your own little talk
Today
show.
I have Jessica here with me talking about the InBody.
Yes, welcome.
Basically what the difference between, so as you know when you were here, we used to use bioelectrical impedance, which just basically looks at the water and the muscle content, which is great, but this is like a supercharged, this is just almost as accurate as if you were doing hydrostatic weighing. So it's super accurate. It is going to be able to tell you how much muscle mass you have, how much water mass you have, how much fat mass you have, but it's also going to look at your segmental lean mass. So are you stronger on the right side? Are you stronger on the left side? Where are you deficient? Where do you hold most of your fat? Do you hold it in your trunk? Do you hold it in your lower body? That sort of thing. And yeah, for females, it's always not the dunk, you know, or you know, and it kind of shows you too, are you an ectomorph? Are you an endomorph? You know, what body style do you have? Because then when you're doing personal training, your trainer can really highlight and say, okay, look, you, like as you see here, most of your muscle is in your upper body, a lot more than you would think. Because traditionally women hold it in their lower body, but you've got a really strong upper body, and so you would be able to focus, but you're fairly even from right to left, which is huge. Sometimes it'll be super cattywampus, and depending on if they're right arm, left arm, and sometimes it's opposite of dominant arm. A lot of one arm stuff, one leg stuff to try to even it out and more of that balance. BMI, of course, is a number that we don't really pay attention to a ton because it's just more of a population standard. But it's always good, especially, you know, if we have clients that are over 30, that's considered obese, and that's really when we start to target the BMI before we look at the body fat percentage. And so the body fat percentage that you're in, as you see, you're still within normal range. This would be under normal. Okay. This would be above normal. 17.8 is a perfectly safe range, especially for females. Sometimes we have this concept that we should all be 10% body fat, and that's like unhealthy low, like super unhealthy. 17 is really a good, healthy, strong number. Anywhere between, I mean, 17 would even be very lean. Of course, you're super lean, you're training for a show, but even up into the 24, 25, 26 would be a very healthy, very muscular range. And a lot of times people would hear that and be like, and I'm fat. And that's not true. But on the flip side, males would be much lower. So male body fat percentages are going to be much lower just because that's how we were designed, and men just carry less fat mass. This, like if you were doing skin fold pinch measurements, you would have read a lower body fat percentage.
I've gotten those done before, and I think on those I was at like 10, maybe 11. I was like, that's not right. That can't be right. But
because of your appearance, it's totally accurate. Because when you don't have very much external fat because you are so lean, but visceral fat you can't see or pinch, and that's the fat that's around your organs, which you can't. It's not like fat either. And you know, those come from a world of factors. It comes from nutrition. It comes from genetics. But you just can't pinch that, and you're able to see the difference from your 10 to 17.
Interesting.
Someone has the same exact body fat percentage as you and looks totally different. They don't look as lean or they look leaner just because of the way their body carries it. So that's important too, that people know. The main purpose that we use this for is to track you. So like we have your numbers here, we would track again in 6 weeks to say, okay, our program is working or it's not working or we need to adjust. but we don't try to compare it to too much of a standard because everybody's just so different.
Yeah.
Give you recommendations. Now this is just based off of your age, your height, and kind of what your normal range would be, but as we know is kind of skewed.
Yeah.
This is telling you that you don't need to lose any body fat and you don't need to gain any lean muscle mass.
Oh, cool.
So
thank you.
This is telling you that
like,
you
you're great.
are. Yeah. It's like
I like
you get
this
an
guy.
A+
Yeah.
report card.
Yeah.
So sometimes you'll have people come in. We have a lot of people too, you know, skinny fat. Some people are they're so envious of skinny people.
Yeah.
But it's harder for them because they're trying to maintain a thin frame and build on mass. And so this will be telling them they need to put on 10 pounds of muscle mass, which is hard. This BMR right here, so this number is your number of calories that you're burning at rest. So if you laid on the couch all day and did nothing but blink your eyes, you would burn 1,400 calories. Most of our clients don't eat enough food, and I'm sure you run into that too. And so we're always telling them, you have got to be at least 200 calories-ish, depending on how much they're working out and what kind of program we have them set on, above that number. Because you're never going to be able to lose weight if your body's constantly starving.
Yeah. As long as I'm eating this much, then I know that I'm fueling my body well.
Appropriately, right.
And then from there you can focus on what type of nutrition and then taking, you know, to account workouts and all this, because there's a lot of women that don't eat anywhere near that.
Nope.
And
They
eat
900 calories a day.
Yeah, well, that's like
They
what
eat
I
like a
used
bird.
to do. And then I would come up and I would do cycle, I would do Zumba, I would do power pump.
So you're
And then I
tearing
was,
your muscles.
and I was eating like 1,000 calories, and I was like, this is great, I'm burning so much. But then you just
And
gain
I'm
weight.
so tired.
Yeah.
And so people then, they just have like this layer of fat that won't go away because their body is like, I'm trying to hibernate here, like let me be. Give me 4 weeks and I just need you to eat this many calories. And if it doesn't work, you can go back to eating like a bird.
Yeah.
And then when they see that they lose weight, they're like, I can eat and lose weight, this is awesome. And a lot of like the, you know, MyFitnessPals or the online apps, they're so good to use for accountability and tracking food, but they only take into account height and weight. And the more muscle that you have, the higher your BMR is. And so the more muscle that you're gaining, you have to up your calories to keep up with that. If not, you're going to end up in the same boat because it's just going to take into height and weight, and it's going to give you, normally it gives you probably within 100 to 50 calories, but it's usually off.
I've noticed that. You enter it and it's like, you only need to eat this.
Right. And so then if you knew this, you could go in and adjust
Yeah.
that to say, okay, I know I need to eat 1,600 calories
Yeah.
or more. So then this is breaking down your total weight, how much of it is lean mass. The only difference so the water that you're looking at, this is something that has been very eye-opening too for people. Water that you carry is different in everybody. So there's no magic range of how much water your body should hold. The number were to go up, we would know that today you were dehydrated. If not, the number will stay relatively the same. So once you reach like that level of hydration that your body holds, everything else will essentially get peed out. And then this we show you, so you've got your weight, your skeletal muscle mass, and your body fat mass. So sometimes when people come in, it'll be in the shape of a C. People, when they're starting their fitness journeys, it's in the shape of that C because their muscle mass is low, their weight and fat mass are high.
Okay. And now as far as, I know we were kind of surprised with the body fat percentage. What's kind of a normal range that you see in these, like, here for healthy women? Like, say they've been...
honestly, you could get anywhere from, I would say, depending on the female, they could be at 15 and be healthy. But I would say lower than 15, you're really at more of an athletic competition, or you're just genetically very lean. But average, I would say 15 would be a super lean. And then you could go all the way up even to 28. And still be very healthy, very lean.
Okay.
Once you get into the 30s, you're probably carrying some extra fat that you could stand to lose.
Okay.
But anywhere between that 15, 28 is really safe.
Yeah. You hear that, ladies?
Don't get to 9%!
Right. It is not healthy to do that long term
Yes.
either. And that's, you know, something that I don't plan. I think I'd mentioned this on one of my prep vlogs recently, that I'm starting to get to the point, especially at my calories, I'm getting to the point where it's not sustainable for me. And it's, you know, I mean, yeah, I could make it happen, but its quality of life wouldn't be anywhere where it should be. And that's something, like, you can't stay that lean, you can't stay dieted down all year. And I think a lot of women see that on social media. They're like, oh, she looks great. But they don't realize that was a throwback picture from 3 months ago whenever they competed, and they don't look like that anymore. They get it in their head and they see these numbers and they're like, I need to be there and I want to be there, but they don't realize everything that goes into it and how it's not healthy and your hormones are thrown off. And
Well, and people's genetics are different. And so the way that someone needs to do their nutrition versus the way someone else does is so different. So they have to find something that's realistic long term. You can't hold a six-pack 12 months out of the year. You just can't.
Yeah.
And you have to kind of find that happy ground where you have to be able to be happy every day, like you said. Because if not, I mean, nutrition and working out has such an effect on your emotional status that if you don't take care of that and figure out, okay, what's realistic for me to be happy, like what you said, if you had looked at this, you know, a couple of years ago and gotten this back, you would have had a meltdown.
Yeah.
And that's just because we hold such value in numbers that don't mean anything to anybody else. You know, it's really, you have to get to a place where you feel comfortable. I hardly ever have a six-pack, ever. Because I would have to be ridiculously diligent about my diet, and I'd have to work out 2 hours a day, and I just don't want to do that. So I just won't. Right.
Who wants to do that?
Yeah. So it's not practical for me, and I know that, and I'm okay with that.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
And
come see us at Texas Health and Rocket Club.